This is what we're up against out in Montana. We just had this major snowstorm, so I've been tucked away in the garage and keeping it warm with a little electric heater that I have, which seems to keep it up around 55, so it's not a problem. I want to do a little catch up on some of the work that I've been doing and maybe get some advice here. I've been dry fitting the amasmakas, and I've established a number of the mounting pads such that the tips of the amasmakas are the same distance from the floor on both sides, and then the amasmakas is centered in the midline of the boat. One of the questions I have is it appropriate that the amasaka touches the deck top, or should I put additional spacers in to relieve that? I was wondering if maybe you get some chafe there, or if that's an issue at all. The other thing is looking aft, you can see that the aft amasaka is shorter, as it was meant to be in the plans, and it also has a flatter curvature. But if you look at the distance between the distal end of the amasaka, it's different fore and aft. It's substantially less distance on the aft amasaka, as you can see when I line them up here. Now, I don't know if that's a problem or not. So I could use a little help there. Moving forward, last couple of days I spent establishing the opening in the desktop, or in the deck top, and fitting in the dagger board. And that went okay. It took a little while to get it centered in there. And then I'm going to be painting the top sides. I'm going with white, except for the floor here, which I've epoxied, and I'm going to paint that black. And then coming back to the aft hatch cover and the mast mount. This was a little bit of an issue because the original plans, and this boat was supposed to be a rowboat and not a sailboat. This bulkhead here, this aft bulkhead is, I guess, set back about an inch aft in the sailing plans so that there's additional room around the hatch to fit the mast and the apparatus that you have to put together to fit this all in. So I don't have much space. I've cut a little bit off of the mast mount here, as you can see, with a bandsaw. And I think I've got just enough to make it. I've dry fit it, and I can get everything in there, and then I'll have that all bonded up against the bulkhead. I think that should work. There wasn't much I could do to avoid that, since I decided to make this into the sailing model long after I had started work on just the basic hull, and there were some changes along the way. I've got the hull painted with this Interlux Bright Side, which is a real nice paint. It's one part epoxy and really gives a very nice finish. I roll it on and then brush it just very lightly with a chip brush, and you get a super nice finish, and it seems pretty durable. The other thing I've done is put together this Trailrite trailer, which it comes in pieces. You can actually mail it, and it didn't have complete instructions, so it was a little tricky. As you can see, there are lots of pieces, lots of bolts and electrics, and actually it turned out to all fit together. Once it's put together, it's a real nice trailer. You can practically pick the whole trailer up yourself. It's super lightweight aluminum, and the boat itself only weighs a couple 100 pounds, so it's no issue at all to have this rather long boat. You can see the trailer just extends up into this part, but it works out pretty nicely. So I think that's going to be very functional, and you can disattach it from your car and actually just wheel the boat right onto the ramp, so you don't have to sink the back of your car. It's got a fairly short neck up there where your hitch would be. So you can just disattach it and then walk the whole boat down to the ramp. I think the idea is to put the akas and amas on while it's on the trailer, and it's easy to set up, and then just basically float the whole thing off once you get down to the ramp. Well, launch date is uncertain at this point. We're now, I think, in my 7th year of doing this. Obviously I haven't been working on it that long. There were several years where I hardly touched it when I didn't have my shop. And then we got this house that had the nice shop. So I've been able to get out here more often. But progress is very slow. But anyway, I hope to have it done by this spring if I can get these niggling little things that I've been kind of waiting on done. Building these amas was like building a whole nother boat, because they are actually harder to put together than the original hull, because some of these corners were much more difficult to torture the wood to get around the bulkheads. But ultimately got it done. Got all the pieces made, just a little paint maybe or some varnish on the rowing supports, and I've got the mast, and I did cut the 2-part mizzen mast down, which was, I hated cutting a brand new mast up in pieces, but it had to be done to shorten it sufficiently to fit the mizzen on. And it comes with a very nice bunch of hardware from, it's all, I think it's Harkin hardware for the boom, and everything comes all pre-rigged. So I'm pretty much ready to go on that. Anyway, thanks for watching.